Do you still support President Putin?
Of course, I support Vladimir Putin because Vladimir Putin is protecting Russia from aggression of United States, who we believe occupy the Ukraine after overthrowing the last democratically elected president of Ukraine in 2014. And it's more personal war of Joe Biden against Vladimir Putin.
Well, I just wonder, we'll talk about that in a minute. I just wonder why you would support a man who has launched this disastrous war on Ukraine and is now threatening Britain and the West with nuclear weapons. Why would you support a man like that?
It's strange that your journalists are disinformed that this war continued already 8 years, and Vladimir Putin sent the Russian army not to start the war, but stop the war, which continue in Ukraine during these 8 years. And dozens of thousands of people already have been killed during this war, during these 8 years. And you may don't know, I will inform you that there are dozens of thousands of political prisoners in Ukraine now. You maybe don't know, but I will inform you that the main hero of Ukrainian regime is fascist Stepan Bandera.
I think if we want to start talking about war crimes, we can talk about war crimes that is being investigated by the Russians, by the Ukrainians, perpetrated by the Russians. But look, I want just a clarification here that President Putin says that in the event of attack on the territorial integrity of Russia, he would without doubt respond using all means available. Now, the clarification is Putin suggesting that if Ukraine attacks the areas in the east and the south of Ukraine claimed by Russia after these referendums this weekend, would that be the justification for nuclear war? Is that what he's saying?
No. Vladimir Putin will not give the order to attack by nuclear weapons Ukraine, because Ukraine is not a nuclear country. And we respect this status. Nevertheless, it's led by a repressive regime. Vladimir Putin told about another thing. He told that Joe Biden and Prime Minister of Great Britain, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, moved the world to the nuclear war. And
how did they do? How have they moved the war to the nuclear war? I don't understand.
It's very easily. I will inform you that United States, Great Britain, use Ukrainian army as a proxy army, as exactly Iran. You're working as Iran, which used Hezbollah as a proxy army.
But the Ukrainians haven't invaded Russia. The Russians have invaded Ukraine. The truth is there's only one person responsible for the war in Ukraine, and that is President Putin.
Ukraine didn't invade Russia, but United States impose occupy regime to the Ukraine and use them for their political purposes. And if you want to know how democratic it is, can you believe that 70% of people in Ukraine, they are Russians? They speak Russian language, and of course they want their children to study by Russian native language. But
and nearly all of them want to be Ukrainians, want to live in Ukraine. That is the fundamental point. Why do you think they're fighting then? Why do you think they're fighting?
I will tell you the difference between Russians and Ukrainians. It's not like difference between English and Scottish. It's like difference between British and English or British and Scottish.
Well, answer me this.
Scottish, they both British.
Answer me this.
Ukrainian
answer me this, Mr. Markov. Answer me this, Mr. Markov. If things are going so well in this special operation, as President Putin calls it, why does he need to mobilize 300,000 more reservists? Isn't it a sign that President Putin is losing this war?
Russia not losing the war, but Russia lost the battle in Kharkiv region. And we lost something about 5-7% of the territory which had been taken by Russian army. You know why? It's very easy. Maybe you don't know about this, but Ukraine which have 5 times less population than Russia, nevertheless has army twice more than Russia army, because Ukraine has full mobilization. It's totalitarian society. But Russia had no any mobilization. That's why Russian army on the front twice less than Ukrainian army. And Vladimir Putin now has to correct this.
Right.
And
isn't
also,
the truth as to why there's been no mass mobilization that you're not confident that your population would go along with that? We're already seeing demonstrations and protests in Moscow, and that's for a partial mobilization.
Yeah, you know why this demonstration? Because Russia is free country. People who took part in those demonstrations, they will be arrested by police for 5 days. But there are no such demonstrations in Ukraine.
Hang on, Mr. Markov. If Russia's a free country, why am I watching a few minutes ago the police carting away hundreds of people for protesting? We're seeing it now. If it's a free country, why are you not allowed to protest something like a war?
Yeah, go to the London. You will see a lot of cases where people in London police also took some protest. But go to the Kiev and you will see any protest against mass mobilization and against war with Russia. You know why? Because Russia free country and Ukrainian regime not free. It's totalitarian society. You personally and all these your people, your politicians.
Why do you prevent? If it's a free country, why are you preventing journalists from going there? Why do you lock up political opponents? Why is Navalny locked? I mean, are you honestly saying it's a free country?
Yeah, I already mentioned. You show this picture because journalists been there, journalists made these pictures and send it to the different media. But it's absolutely impossible to do it in Ukraine because Ukraine now is totalitarian society. It's totalitarian society of 21st century, and no one allowed to have a real protest. All of them, dozens, thousands.
Mr. Markov, isn't the truth here that President Putin has realized that he's losing this war? Things are not going well. And he's mobilized, partial mobilization of 300,000 more troops. But he doesn't risk a mass mobilization because the population would not accept it.
He he's losing not war. He lost some battle in Kharkiv region. It's one. Secondly, of course, Vladimir Putin don't want to have mass mobilization. Because people doesn't like it. It's true. Right. And also because, as already mentioned, Putin don't want to make totalitarian society from Russia. If Russia will be totalitarian society, as you told on your media many times, what protest could be? All protests should be very much suppressed by totalitarian society.
Just finally, Mr. Markov, I get your point. Just finally, Mr. Markov, you said on radio this morning that Russia would be prepared to launch a nuclear attack on Britain that would kill a lot of people. What you've just said, that wouldn't happen. So what you're saying now, that would only be in response to a nuclear attack. Is that what you're saying? Let's be clear about this.
Yes, I would say very clear.
Right. Okay.
Nuclear war is becoming more and more close to our families, to our houses, and to our bodies.
All right.
It's because Russia under the aggression.
All right.
And the scenario of shifting to the nuclear war, it's not because Vladimir Putin wants to send rocket missiles to the London.
All right. Well, we have to leave it there.
Rocket missiles to the Moscow.
But
it's because situation can come to the not controlling a scenario.
Okay.
It's what I told. And rocket missiles can go to the London and to the, Glasgow and another British cities.
Right, okay, look, we have to leave it there. Mr. Markov, I think you've made your point. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
My pleasure.